What's up? I'm Ozzy. For those of you that don't know me, I lost 100 pounds twice. Second time, I got much leaner, got visible abs, and got in the best shape of my life. Today, I wanted to talk about basically my food approach for unlocking aesthetics or, getting lean and building an aesthetic physique. And really, just being healthy overall. Oh, and before we get into it, so I'm a big believer that, especially as a man, if you're not in shape, you're not your best self. And if you're not your best self, it's impossible for you to live your best life. With that being said, if you want to work with me one on one to unlock your best self and unlock your best life, links in the description, also in my channel bio, or you could just comment or DM lean to me at aesthetic_o.z on either Instagram or TikTok. But that'll also be in the description. But yeah, let's get into it. So, if I was to describe my approach in a nutshell for unlocking aesthetics, as far as like your food approach, staying lean, just being healthy overall, in a nutshell, basically high protein, low calorie. Well, obviously, you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat. But even in general, like even when I'm maintaining, I still eat foods that are lower in caloric density just because, well, one, you can have a bigger portion of them without destroying your calories. And it makes it easier to stay satiated on fewer calories. And then, you get that protein goal. So easier to keep your muscle. And yeah, but I'd say basically eating low calorie, high protein, plus also hitting your micronutrients. Now, if you're trying to lose fat, obviously that high protein caloric deficit is your like that's number one before everything else. But once you get to the stage that you're trying to stay lean, or even if you're trying to, let's say, optimize for health, right? Like micronutrients matter, but you don't have to do this thing where you have to have like perfect micronutrients or whatever, right? Like, because something I notice in the fitness industry a lot is this, and even with just like people's general approach when it comes to food or whatever, is this like a food fear thing, right? In which I'm very anti food fear. Here's what I mean. Oh, for example, oh, the enemy is carbs. Like, no, bro. Look, when I hear people go, oh, don't eat carbs, oh, don't eat fats, oh, don't eat this, or don't eat that, I've seen people demonize fruits and veggies. At that point, I'm just like, please stop talking. Like the thing is, pretty much so I'm a big believer in this, right? That for the most part, there's really no such thing as bad foods, but there is bad food decisions, right? So, for example, right, let's say people go, oh, too much of anything will cause a problem, but then that's not the thing. That's your decision, your mindset, and how you used it in that moment, right? For example, okay, people will talk about, oh, carbs are the devil, right? And they were like, okay, I'm gonna go keto. Keto, some secret answer or whatever. Look, whatever makes it easy for you to keep a high protein calorie deficit. If you're somebody that can stick with keto for the long term, paleo or whatever, feel free, right? But I'm a big believer in using all the tools available to you to achieve the goal. I'll tell you a lot of my mindset, not even just in fitness and life, is I'm a utilitarian to a certain point, right? And the thing is, I believe you should use the best tools you have available, especially that align with like who you are or what your natural strengths already are or what your natural tendencies are. So, right, let me not lose the point. So people be like, "Oh, carbs are the enemy." No, no, it's not. Like one, keeping carbs in your diet, one, it allows you to keeps your glycogen stores fueled, which makes it easier for you to fuel your workouts, get better lifting sessions in, and get better just workouts overall. And my experience makes diet adherence easier if you're not like, for example, missing, let's say, bread from your diet. People are like, oh, cut out bread, cut out rice. It's like you don't need to do that. Okay. Or people be like, oh, fats is the problem because so yes, fats is 9 calories per gram, while carbohydrates and protein is 4 calories per gram. Basically, fat tends to be higher in caloric density, but usually, so it's easier. It's not the only way to make things taste good, but it's easier to make things taste good when you put a bunch of fat in it, basically. So a lot of the times when you eat outside, especially in the US, or like restaurants, whatever, they'll deep fry stuff, put in a bunch of butter, oil, all of that, right? So here's the thing: when you deep fry anything pretty much. One, a lot of the time it's going to be stripping nutritional value from it, but two, it's also going to be, it's just adding a bunch of unnecessary calories. I look at calories like this. Basically, calories are your budget to get nutritional value from what you're eating. So let's say you eat something and it gives you a decent amount of healthy fats, you got nutritional value from it. Those calories were worth spending for that, right? Or you got, it helps you hit your protein goal. Like I know a lot of you know the 10-to-1 protein rule, right? So like 10 calories or about that for every 1 gram of protein, right? That's usually a pretty good trade off there, but it doesn't have to be perfectly that. I was mentioning fats, right? So with fats isn't necessarily the problem, right? Like even fats, your body needs some level of fat, dietary fat, just for your hormonal health, whether you're a guy or a girl. And a lot of the time, usually how fat is found in nature, just from what I've seen, usually it comes with a lot of nutritional value. Not necessarily protein all the time, but different types of, whether it's a lot of micronutrients, whether you're getting, a good example of this is avocados, for example, right? So there's that as well. So it's not like, oh, it's the fat isn't necessarily the problem. But if you're eating, usually, or people will talk about seed oils, dude, the problem, like 99% of the time, you're eating too many calories. And people, you need to be accountable with what you're eating. Like, it's almost like a lot of people want to do anything but look in the mirror, be accountable, and actually become aware. Like a lot of why people go, oh, it's unhealthy to track it. Why is it unhealthy to track your calories? But it's healthy to stuff your face with a bunch of stuff that's not good for you. And please understand, I'm not saying this from some high horse. Dude, I've been there. The only difference is I didn't lie to myself about it. Nobody put a gun to my head and made me eat all the high calorically dense stuff. I chose to do that. So that's a lot of it too. Basically, the point that I'm making with this in terms of my food approach, food philosophy, is people think you need this magic bullet or this food's the enemy or this food's the enemy, because it's easier to do that than to just actually track what you're doing. Because then you become, I feel like subconsciously most people know, or at least a lot of people know, you then have to become much more self-aware, and then you realize you were the your habits and what you were doing was a lot of the problem. Like a lot of people talk about the first time that they weighed how much rice, and then they saw what 100 grams of rice is, and they realized they've been eating for a family of four. But you don't need this magical perfect diet. You don't need to go on some juice cleanse. You don't need to go paleo. You don't need to go keep whatever. Especially in the US, most people wildly underestimate just how many calories they eat on a daily basis. Like, I'm a big believer, everyone should go through at least a 2 week period where they just weigh out or keep track as much as possible of how much they're eating, right? But yeah, the point I'm making is you don't need this magical diet. You don't need, you just need consistency, and you need to become much more aware of your actual eating habits, not what you think they are. A lot of people will say, like, okay, oh, hop on a consultation with me. I'm like, okay, so how many calories you're eating, or what's your daily intake like, right? I'm like, oh, I eat pretty good. Well, if you eat pretty good, that's not one. That's not an answer, right? Like, because even if, let's say, you're eating foods that are generally considered healthy, right? If you eat too many calories at the end of the day, you're still gonna gain body fat. So because of that, that's why that like accountability matters so much. And as a lot of you know, I mean, that's what pulls the majority of people to my page is my low calorie, high protein recipes. Pretty much most, if not all of your favorite recipes, or sorry, not recipes, favorite foods, you can make lower in calories, higher in protein, and still taste good, right? And also, as far as oh yeah, the other point I wanted to make sure to touch on further, your micronutrients. Micronutrients do matter, right? I talk about eating low calorie, eating high protein. Micronutrients make you, well, one, just healthier overall, makes recovery better. You'll feel better as well. But that being said, you don't need to be super perfect with micronutrients, just from what I'm seeing. I mean, so yeah, and when I say micronutrients, if I was to make it as easy as possible, add some fruits and veggies. Get your fruits and veggies. Even if you got to sneak them in with the dish, whatever. If you want to take a greens powder to do it too, that's fine, honestly. But you don't need this perfect micronutrient profile where they're trying to hit everything obsessively. Like that's just for starters. Like let's think about this practically for a second, right? Certain foods are more available in one part of the world than they are in others. Like for example, certain parts of the world it's probably harder to grow rice, for example. Other parts of the world maybe it's harder to grow potatoes, just for the sake of the example, right? People in those regions, there's I don't think it's coincidence that there's so many different ways to get the nutritional value that we actually need from food. Because like certain foods aren't going to be available in other regions of the world, right? And are those people then going to be so much unhealthy? Like, yes, our body has requirements. There's things you can do to get like absolute 100% optimal efficiency, but at that point, it's like, is this realistically attainable? Is this sustainable as well, right? And just from my experience working with others and what I've seen, really, as long as you make an actual effort, you're reasonable with your calories, right? Like you're aware of it. Like I mentioned, like your calories is basically just your budget for getting nutritional value from the food that you eat. How I define junk food is literally foods that give you little to no nutritional value, or at least in comparison to the calories you would have to pay to eat it. An easy example of this is crumble cookie. I'm always down to dunk on crumble cookie because I think it's a crime that a cookie should be 1,000 calories. But let's not get sidetracked. You're basically getting a cookie that's 1,000 calories, 3 grams of protein. It's not helping you with your daily protein goal. Um, you're getting no micronutrients, no fiber, nothing. You're not going to get any satiety from it, so you're not even going to be full. Yeah, it'll taste good, but there's other stuff that will taste good and not absolutely ruin your calorie budget for the day. Now, that being said, that's the other thing too. It's not about perfection. It's about actually trying and being consistent, right? Actually trying awareness and accountability slash consistency with it. For you, if crumble tastes good enough for you, because I don't want to sit here pretend. Do I eat out a lot? It's rare for me to eat out. But that being said, I've mentioned this in other videos before. I have a friend that lives in Philly, and I know that when I go there and visit him, there's a good chance we're gonna go to this cheesesteak spot that I think is I enjoy quite a lot. How I do it, my approach, I like calorie banking. I will eat in a deficit the days up to it, and also maybe eat lower calories the earlier part of that day, so that by the time I get there and we eat, you can just enjoy. I'm not ruining my calories, and I can just go back to normal after that, right? For me, saving the calories there is worth it. If you like crumble, even though it's not the most whatever, and that's worth it to you, then just do that. You can save your calories for it. You can work it into your diet once in a while. The point I'm making is you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware, accountable, and consistent. Those things. Yeah, is there some misinformation out there? Yes. And a lot of this really ties back to like mindset, and something that I like mentioning quite a bit is that the fitness journey, especially fat loss, is really a mental journey pretending to only be physical. When you understand that, you understand that you have to change a lot of your mindset around this. Like really with my clients, that's really what I'm helping them, because that barrier to being consistent and actually executing, because like there's a good amount of people that have the knowledge. They know, okay, less calories than I burn, I lose fat. Protein keeps muscle, blah blah. But then actually executing is part of what I help, is because I'm gonna be holding you accountable. It's easier to stay accountable or stick to a plan when you have somebody that achieved the goal you're trying to, or even went beyond that, that you know that person is going to hold you accountable. It's much harder to then go, I don't feel like working out today. I'm gonna eat whatever I feel like and not track. That's that kind of thing. And that's a mental thing. That's a mindset thing. That's a mental journey. That's taking you from an instant gratification mentality to a delayed gratification mentality. And from what I've seen in life, that's usually much more fulfilling. Things behind delayed gratification tend to improve your life, tend to increase your confidence overall, and tend to increase your overall standard of life, right? Like a lot of the time, I know you've heard the saying where most people will choose to enjoy 5 years and then kind of suffer the rest of their life because they got to enjoy that in the moment, versus you may have to grind for a year or 5 for something, but then you get to enjoy a different standard of life with that thing the rest of your life. Like most things behind delayed gratification, something I've noticed, and it's not just a fitness journey. You have to do the work to get there, and it's hard. But once you've gotten to whatever goal that is, maybe getting a certain body composition, maybe getting building a business to a certain amount of money, then you just have to do the work to maintain what you built to, which is usually much less work than what you had to do to actually get there. But you still can't ignore it, or you'll easily slip back. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to talk about as far as like my food approach, and just I feel like a lot of people needed to hear this. And it's something that I mean I've mentioned, but I haven't mentioned as aggressive. It's something I'll talk about more and more. But it's a question I get a lot. Oh, I bet you don't eat rice. Oh, I bet you don't eat this. Oh, just so yeah, this should help anyone seeing this, and also make it easier to get even more value out of the recipes I share. I share them on my YouTube shorts. Just take a look. I promise it's not what you think. Like most people think food that's low in calories or that's actually good for you has to taste horrible, and that couldn't be further from the case. You just have to be smart about how you do certain things in your cooking process. And I also share these recipes in my aesthetic cookbook, also link in channel bio. Just have it all in one place. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Now I mentioned it earlier in the video, so I'll mention it again. I'm a big believer that if you're not in shape, especially as a guy, you are not your best self. And if you're not your best self, it's impossible for you to live your best life. So if you want to work with me one-on-one to unlock your best self and unlock your best life, links in the description. Also in my channel bio, you can book a free consultation. You can get, an aesthetic consultation. But in all seriousness, yeah, you can also just comment or DM Lean to me at aesthetic_o.z. You can do that on either Instagram or TikTok. But yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Other than that, you guys stay blessed.